distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends and artist fraternity. It gives me great pleasure to extend you all a warm welcome on behalf of National Gallery of Modern Art, Bengaluru, for the inauguration of the exhibition Serene Saga, a retrospective exhibition of Haren Thakur, curated by National Gallery of Modern Art, Bengaluru, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. With pleasure and privilege, we have with us the distinguished guests for this evening. Srimati Nirupama Rao, former India's Foreign Secretary and Ambassador to United States, Professor Rajesh Gopakumar, theoretical physicist, Director, International Center for Theoretical Sciences, Mr. Sudhakar Rao, former Chief Secretary, Government of India, IAS, Ms. Nazneen Banu, Director, National Gallery of Modern Art, Bengaluru, and the artist of the exhibition, Mr. Haren Thakur. It is my honor, more than a pleasure, to welcome you all to this, and now I request you all to grace the dais and commence this evening's program by lighting the lamp. I request the dignitaries to kindly come up on stage. I request Director, National Gallery of Modern Art, Bengaluru, to welcome the guests by presenting a bouquet and a small gift as a token of respect, and to give her welcome address on this occasion.
Honorable Chief Guest, Srimati Nirupama Rao ji, former Ambassador and Foreign Secretary, Government of India, Professor Rajesh Gopakumar, Director, International Center for Theoretical Sciences, Shri Sudhakar Rao ji, former Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka and Chairman Advisory Committee, NGMA, distinguished dignitaries of the dais, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Director General, National Gallery of Modern Art, and entire team of NGMA Bengaluru, I extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. It gives us immense pleasure to present Sri Haren Thakur from Jharkhand to the people of Karnataka and people across the southern region in the form of this retrospective exhibition titled Serene Saga. As the name suggests, most of his works are inspired from the nature, depicting the serenity, harmony, simplicity, and peace. His work primarily encompasses a tribal art form carrying the very essence of nature, life, and faith And these unique works comes across mostly through the mixed medium on Nepalese rice paper. During the course of this exhibition, we will also be organizing several creative, engaging, and educative outreach programs in consultation with the artist. And I request everyone present here to please tell your family, friends, neighbors, and colleagues about this exhibition put up at NGMA, as we want to bring in larger cross-section of the society closer to art so that they get inspired, educated, learn, and spread the piece around. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the distinguished dignitaries on the dais for accepting our invite and gracing the occasion. A special thanks to Nirupama Raoji, who is a role model in herself and has inspired many, many generations and will keep inspiring many generations to come. Your presence has made this occasion even more special for us, ma'am, and thank you very much from the bottom of our heart. Heartfelt thanks to Professor Rajesh Gopakumar, theoretical physicist and director ICTS, for accepting our invite and gracing this occasion. We are really honored by your presence with us this evening. And last but not the least, a big thank you to Sri Sudhakar Raoji for gracing this occasion in spite of his busy schedule and for all that you have done for NGMA, sir. You are indeed a pillar of strength for Team NGMA Bangalore. Though the word thanks is not enough, but as of now, a big thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the guidance, support, and encouragement. And thank you very much, one and all, for taking your time out and for being here this evening. And we look forward to your indulgence with art, not only today and this month, but for always and forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request the chief guest, Professor Rajesh Gopakumar, to say a few words on this occasion.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm really thrilled to be here on this occasion of the inauguration of Sri Haren Thakur's retrospective. I had the occasion to take a peek preview just before, and I must say it's really wonderful. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely encourage you to do so and to tell your friends about it. I have a kind of a connection. I felt a connection also because Jharkhand, the place where Haren Thakur is a place I have been several times to. In fact, my wife's family had a house in the rural areas of Jharkhand, and it's one of my it's one of my very treasured memory to have spent many days there in the midst of the rolling landscape, the red earth and the hills, and I think Haren's exhibits capture that. I first felt a little bit out of place as a scientist in the midst of this art gallery and the art gathering. But then I felt, in a sense, science and art are all about the same ultimate desire for humans to sort of transcend their immediate surroundings and feel at one with the universe. So I think in that spirit, I'm very happy to be here today. I should say that as a scientist, we also, in our institution, organize outreach activities which would like to bring together science and art together. And I hope to engage with the population of this vibrant city and the NGMA for some of the future things. And I really do hope the science and art don't remain disjoint worlds for the citizens of the city. So with this, let me also thank the director of the NGMA for inviting me, and I wish Sri Haren Thakur all the best for this retrospective of his life's work. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Sudhakar Rao to say a few words on this occasion.
Ellarigu namaskara. Good evening to all of you. Great to be back in NGMA once again. I was associated with the NGMA for long years as a part of the advisory committee. But I am now in a bit of a dilemma, quandary, in the sense the new director has come, lots of things are being happening in the NGMA. If I was still on the advisory committee, I would have gone around saying, I did this, I did that. But now I am denied that privilege. I find that the structure, the building itself is looking nice and bright with the good new coat of paint. I find that lights have been put all over the premises, giving it a wonderful look late in the evening. And I have no doubt in my mind that Nazneen, who has now come as a full-time director, will slowly but steadily, slowly because that's how the ministry works and not because that's how she works, slowly but steadily ensure that this place gets transformed as it ought to be, but was unfortunately somewhat handicapped because we didn't have a full-time director. So I'd like to use this opportunity once again to wish her the very best in her efforts. Already you're making a difference, and I hope you will keep that up. About the artist himself, he is also going to say a few words, and possibly Nirupama ji also may be speaking about the artist. So I will only mention that my first reaction was that where is Sharmila ji, that is the artist's wife. She is herself a renowned artist. I think she does watercolors and landscape, I think. But unfortunately, somehow, instead of organizing a husband and wife exhibition, it has just remained Haren Thakur's exhibition. But this is a question that must be often asked of you. Where is Sharmila ji? Where is your wife? Because I hear it all the time. I cannot go to any place without everybody asking me, where's your wife? But be that as it may, we are very happy to have you here. And I think he's a great artist. That's my personal view. And of course, many people share that view. Great mix of the tribal art, very simple lines, simplicity, and what should I say? Vivid colors is what describes his work, but I'm sure he'll speak about it himself. As the director said, please come to NGMA as often as you can. Please spread the word. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends that there are some wonderful exhibitions that the NGMA houses. I have told Nazneen that we should perhaps, which was also an area where we weren't doing enough work, publicize and give more publicity to the work that's being done in NGMA, sort of feature the space itself more prominently as it has been done in Bombay. But I'm sure all these things will happen. Meanwhile, enjoy the latest exhibition, and I'm sure you have a feast when you go into the gallery to see Thakurji's work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request Ms. Nirupama Rao ji to give her inaugural address.
Distinguished guests, Nazneen, the artist, Mr. Haren Thakur, Professor Rajesh, Sudhakarji. Gives me great pleasure to inaugurate the exhibition at the National Gallery of Modern Art, Bengaluru, by the very distinguished and brilliant artist
Mr. Haren Thakur. I have myself never been to Jharkhand, but looking at the creative oeuvre, the work of Mr. Thakur, I have been able to obtain a glimpse of that ancient part of India. In many ways, I think the crucible that describes our origins in many ways. In Canada, there's a phrase, First Nations, when they refer to the tribal people, when they refer to the original inhabitants, as it were. I know there's a lot of debate and controversy today about the people of India and their origins, but I think if you go to Jharkhand, you are able to get a taste of our beginnings, our origins. And as far as the art of our artist we are honoring today is concerned, not only does it express the intrinsic soul, the spirit of the soil, as it were, of Jharkhand, but it also in many ways links up to what the French call the human condition. And it links up to the art of Egypt, of Mesopotamia, of many, many more expressions of the human imagination. And that is what makes this art so special, and that is what makes it essential for us to celebrate artists of the ability and genius of Mr. Thakur. Art, in many ways, I think, expresses the identity of a people. It is a mirror into their soul, and that is why it is so important to celebrate the work of artists like our honored guest here today. It's very important, particularly for a young nation such as India. We are striding ahead, making great progress, but very often I think we have no time to reflect and think about our rich heritage and about the creativity that has been so much behind the idea of India. So what the National Gallery of Modern Art does and seeks to do, I think should be supported and encouraged by each and every one of us. And I'm so happy that the gallery has a full-time director with the arrival of Nazneen. I wish her every success during her tenure. I'm sure she can bring a lot of change for the good, a lot of progress to fulfill the goals of this eminent institution. This is a very special place in many ways, I think a jewel, a crown jewel in many ways of our city. And Bangalore is known around the world, of course, for the IT industry, for the technological genius that it expresses, the research and development work that goes on around the city. But there is another aspect of Bangalore also that we must celebrate, and it has been part of the country where so much has happened in terms of the ancient dynasties that have come and gone. It has been the site of conquest. It has been the site of consolidation. It has, in many ways, I think, expresses our history and heritage in a very special way. And I would like to see Bangalore celebrate those aspects of our identity more and more, because it is through that, I think, that we can develop a true intrinsic character of a place, like the great cities of the world, like if you mention Paris or New York, in terms of all the art and creative work that goes on there. Similarly, one would like to see Bangalore become a fulcrum of such good work. And I wish the NGMA the very best in doing this. You have an onerous task to fulfill. Our expectations are vested in what you are going to do. And I hope we will see many, many more people come to this gallery to witness the activities that go on. And once again, I have great pleasure in inaugurating this exhibition. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request the artist to say a few words and address the audience.
Respected chairs, Madam Nirupama Rao, Sri Sudhakar Rao Sahab, Mr. Rajesh Gopakumar, and Najnin Banu, Director Nagma. With due apology, I would like to say, Sudhakar Rao Sahab, that he was praising my wife Sharmila, who could not attend the function, because women always are mother. She is acting as a, very pure role of a mother, because my daughter-in-law, who is expected now, so she could not come. This anyway. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here with the invitation of National Gallery of Modern Art, Bangalore, for the expositions of my works created during my 4 decades at art journey in the state of Jharkhand at Ranchi, from 1975 to 2018. I thanks to my Shantiniketan guru like Ram Kinkar. I thanks to Binod Bihari, Gauri Bhanja, Somnath Hor, Dinkar Kaushik, Sharvari Roy Chaudhary, Salim Munshi, and so many. My gratitude to my elder brother, Mr. B.D. Thakur, who took me Shantiniketan, provided so many difficulties during this period, the boom of Nakshal period during 70s. And thanks to my wife Sharmila, who is a good painter. The most of the contribution from her side, and she is also painting regularly at Ranchi, and normally outside we both used to hold our joint exhibitions, and this is the time now she's not able to participate anyway. And thanks and regard to Pastoral Panorama Jharkhand, which inspired and provoked me to work with their pulsation. As we all know, that archaeologically the hills of Chotanagpur are older than Himalayas. The river Suvarnarekha, Damodar, and Barakar have been flowing before the Ganga. Jharkhand, meaning the forest land, has always been the strategically important, both historically and in terms of modern economy. Dry climate and parched geography blended with the rich flora and fauna has rendered the Adivasis, especially the Orao, Mundas, and Santals, adhere to their closeness with the nature. This nature has important role in their life and culture of tribals. Branches of sacred trees and other natural items are all ceremonially worshipped as a god and goddesses in this land of tribals in the form of Karma, Sarhul, Jitya are some of the ethnic festival. The ethnicity and purity of tribal life is showcased by the adherence of this tribal to the basic elements of life, the Jal, Vayu, Agni, and Prithvi. I can say when we are with the nature, we are secure, we can learn and grow from this place of calm and tranquility. I have not tried to transform the tribal art form of the region only to depict the deeper essence and values of life through my work. And I am sure that irrespective of our individual belief and faith, if central pond of peace, no mortal being can disturb and harmony that is created and balanced by nature itself. It is the conclusion. I say that is full, all are full. When fullness is removed from fullness, only remains the fullness. Peace, peace, and peace. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of National Gallery of Modern Art curatorial team, I would like to read the curatorial note. The Bengal School of Art sought to establish a distinctly Indian art that celebrated an indigenous cultural heritage rather than Western art and culture, rejecting the academic traditional typical promoted in British art schools as nationalists and modern art movement that celebrated historical, spiritual, and artistic Indian traditions. Bengal School in painting was called the Renaissance School to develop an indigenous yet modern style in the art has a response to the call for Swadeshi to express Indian themes in pictorial language. The themes most often seen in the Bengal school included Misti and romantic visions of Indian landscape, historical scenes, and portraits, as well as anecdotes and incidents from daily life in the countryside. Many artists charted individual paths even though they used the techniques and material popularized by Bengal school. The philosophy of simplicity and documenting the life around which was followed strongly by the Bengal school, looking by the Santal family, the life of tribes as a common thematic expression in art. Harindranath Tagore spent his life and nurtured his creative ventures, partaking in the core lifestyle of tribes of Jharkhand. He is trained at Shantiniketan, West Bengal, under the tutelage of eminent stalwart artists like Ram Kinkar Bej, Binod Bihari Mukherjee, Somnath Hor, Dinakar Kaushik, Sarabhai Roy Chaudhary, Sarbarai Roy Chaudhary, please excuse me, and many others. The artistic expressions of connected to the roots encompasses tribal art forms, motifs of great tribal of Jharkhand, with minimalistic line, primitive culture, and carries the essence and emotion of nature, life, and faith. His works depict harmony, simplicity, and peace through color, form, and use of camouflage icons of tribal and contemporary blend. He gets inspiration from the core of creation, complemented by serene nature surrounding of Jharkhand. Thakur has discovered the essential structural patterns of tribal art and fused its geometrical sophistication with visual concepts culled from Egyptian wall paintings. Like many painters all over the world, Thakur has sought to discover the essence of primitive creativity of the 18th century dynasty of Nile Valley paintings. His uniqueness comes across mostly through mixed media of Nepalese rice paper and use of subduing colors. So, the exhibition, the curatorial part of the exhibition looks into the initial stage of Mr. Thakur's work and exploring a few works of his mythological interest, what he has created, and then the tribes and one section of the animals, what he has concentrated, and the mother and child, and his latest works, which talks about the metropolitan and the village. So it's questioning the life in a very subtle, simple manner. So it's time for the vote of thanks on behalf of National Gallery of Modern Art, Bengaluru. Our sincere thanks to Srimati Nirupama Rao, Professor Rajesh Gopakumar, Mr. Sudhakar Rao for kindly accepting our invitation and being here with us for today's evening. I also extend our gratitude to Director NGMA Bengaluru for gracing this occasion. Our sincere acknowledgements to Sri Advaita Gadnayak, Director General, National Gallery of Modern Art, Advisory Committee NGMA Bengaluru for their generous support. I deeply thank artist Haren Thakur for sharing his value, time, and cherished memories of his artistic journey. I thank all the artists and art historians and others who have contributed directly or indirectly towards successful execution of this exhibition. Finally, I thank Ministry of Culture, Government of India for their unstinted support. Before we conclude, with the permission of the guests here, I would request all the staff of NGMA to come up on stage. So on this occasion, acknowledge and extend our appreciation for sincere effort with extraordinary commitment and support of entire NGMA team. All these years, nobody knew that who are working back screen. So here we have our team. So we have Madhwal, who is the security officer, Mr. Lingraj, our exhibition setup expert, Mr. Ravindra, who take care of financial support and give us all the other support required to organize things in terms of financial. Ms. Kavita, the PA to director, Ms. Sandhya, who takes care of the art shop, Lakshmi, currently taking care of the ticketing counter, Mr. Subarna Patro, the curator, Rekha, the assistant curator, Mr. Satish, all-rounder, Ms. Barni, librarian, Mr. Prasad, big support in terms of administration. We have Shivputra, also the all-rounder, Mr. Purushottam, who also helps in all the things, Mr. Rashwant, and myself, Darshan Kumar. I'm the deputy curator here. And not to forget huge support from our director, Ms. Nazneen Banu.
National Gallery of Modern Art with all my 200 paintings approximately for exposition here. I'm happy that most of the paintings are from my journey at Jharkhand, Shantiniketan and Ranchi. All those work which I have brought here, most of the people, they are enjoying the subject, the texture, the essence of tribal pulsations, all those things they are enjoying here, and which through my journey, which I have gathered my experience, the way of life of Jharkhand tribal people, how they breathe, how they work, how they take a rest, and their life movement, everything through accumulated with the nature. And they basically they love nature. And nature nowadays, the people, in the modern age which we see, most of them are away from the nature. And most of my paintings I have tried to understand, to acquainted with the nature, because without nature we can't live, without nature we can't breathe. And let us go to the grassroots through the paintings. They can feel, they can be educated through my paintings. And the work style which I have followed with the rice paper, which is handmade rice paper, very much, the textured rice paper from 1974 I am using, and this is my medium as a painting. And most of the paintings as a medium which I have used here, the people of Bangalore and the art lover, they are enjoying the sensitivity of the papers, the use of color, very limited color I have used everywhere, and the subject, compositions, whatever I have gone through my paintings, it is not just for as a document. You can say how the existence of humanity, the tree which starts from the grassroots, and it gives lots of vibration to the nature, and it gives a positive energy to the human beings, So that was my motto. Sometimes I have observed everywhere that the hills, the trees are being cut, and the trees also I see that it is weeping. The tree, I have done some paintings. I want to give them some message. Be aware about the nature, because the tree also can weep. Tree also listen the dialogue from the human beings. So tree, the hills are weeping somewhere, and the human, their life of the tribals, the cowboy, what he's with a flute somewhere, and he's just relaxing under the tree, nothing else, and he's very much, free from the all burdens, no any complicacy, is related with the cosmic energy, and taking rest under the tree. The cows are moving around the field, and even then the people of Jharkhand in tribal belt, they are so easygoing, and whatever the connectivity with the nature, that's why the existence of tribal